Welcome to Myths, Mysteries, and Majesty channel. I have to admit that I've been waiting for so long to say something like that. And before I explain every word in the channel and their meaning, I have to say that for years I've been loving the field of apologetics, which is one of the branches of theology, where I would try to find reasonable and logical data and evidence to support Christianity when we would be challenged in front of our friends who are skeptics or atheists or maybe members of different religions. But then eventually I heard about the work of Dr. Michael Heiser, and I have to admit, I was not very fond of him in the beginning, nothing personal, but the way he introduced all these supernatural topics in the biblical studies were way different than I have ever heard before from pastors and preachers. And of course, it is one of the parts of one of the traits of my character are to be guarded against anything that may sound non-orthodox, meaning anything that may be attacking any sound doctrines that Christianity has believed for the last 2,000 years. But then I heard that Dr. Michael Heiser was endorsed by other well-known Orthodox theologians and scholars, and then I learned that he didn't invent anything. He was just building on the top of all those scholars that came before him, and even the early church fathers and theologians, but even before them, what the ancient Jews used to believe. And then I figured out that a lot of his material is not something taught in Christian colleges and seminaries or in churches. And this is not me creating any conspiracy theories, because I hate those, or this is not me putting anyone down, any pastor, any professor, any school, because I'm a part, as you can tell, of an amazing Christian university. So why are the reasons why we don't hear so much about these supernatural aspects of the biblical narrative? I think there are at least a couple of reasons. First, that people like me can be guarded because listening to stories about giants or gods being mentioned in the Old Testament, and which Apostle Paul much later calls in the New Testament as principalities and powers, dominions and authorities, and so on, or a demonic manifestation, like who is this desert spirit called Azazel, or who is this screeching owl called Lilith in the Old Testament. Who are the sons of God in Genesis 6 that came to mate with women? There are different interpretations, different views. So I understand that people are guarded because some of these things are very odd and weird, to be honest. But I also think that there is a different reason why we turn our backs on supernatural aspects of the Bible. When Enlightenment came by the end of the 17th century and lasted until the beginning of, I think, 19th century, something like that. The main theme of Enlightenment was to try to reason with everything. And as a person who is trying to be intellectual and who loves knowledge, because I truly believe knowledge is power, and who loves reading, I'm not against intellectual things at all, or looking for data and clues. I like those things like Sherlock Holmes and trying to find out who is the killer by checking out the clues. But the era of Enlightenment has inevitably birthed a new type of biblical theologians back in the days, which would discard and mock anything supernatural in the Bible and trying to come up with only some ethical or logical parts of the Bible that they would think they're valid, especially for us in in modernity, especially in the 21st century. So it could be different reasons why people are kind of antagonistic towards these supernatural things, but also they don't have maybe scholars or pastors or preachers or priests who taught them about these things. And just because I know a little bit about these things, that doesn't put me um, in some separate um, basket, so to speak, where I think that, oh, I'm in this elite basket or group of people who know better than all these pastors or theologians and professors just because I may have read a little bit more in some aspects than them. No, this is just me learning and being curious and just having passion and desire to share some of the knowledge with you guys. So once when I found out about Dr. Heiser and that he's a solid theologian and a scholar, I decided not just to listen to his videos, but also to go and buy his books. So I went on eBay and I wanted to buy two of his main textbooks. And these are the books that I want to show to all of you and which I wholeheartedly recommend for all of you to buy for your home library. This is the first book that you must buy. It's called The Unseen Realm. And this is the Unseen Realm's spiritual sequel called Reversing Hermon. So they're both by Dr. Michael Heiser. And it's very interesting how years ago, when I went on eBay to buy these books, the lady who was selling them, even though she didn't know me, she said, I believe that God has a plan for you so that through these books, you have the access to the material that one day you can be teaching others and influencing them. I was just like, I don't buy into that so much, lady, but just please take the money and send me the books. I mean, just to be honest. But I have to say that Dr. Michael Heiser's teachings and this supernatural background and context, which we're missing so much today, have changed my life, have changed the way I see theology, the Bible, life, everything. It gave me so much context to the weird parts of the Bible that others couldn't, give me such a good explanation. It also moved me from loving apologetics or systematic theology to put that below biblical theology. So once when I started learning about these things, I discovered other theologians and I was fascinated by these things. And the first half of my life I have spent without God. And I was always drawn to the supernatural stuff, including New Age. I wasn't like involved so much in the occult or witchcraft, but I was still, very curious what is out there. Then I came to Christ and spent the second half of my life with Him. And I discarded a lot of those spiritual things and supernatural things which I used to love as either nonsense or just bad things to stay away from. And many of them were bad. The reason why I'm saying that is because I know the difference in my life of living the life without God and living life with God. So this whole channel would be with me putting my biblical lenses on or Christ lenses on and speaking from that perspective. And some of you who are skeptics may say, well, he's being subjective, he's being biased. And I would say, yes, to a certain degree, yes. But again, I know the difference. And as some scholars are saying, it's impossible to be completely objective and completely non-biased because we all bring certain presuppositions and assumptions and beliefs in different areas of our life. So if I have to put Christ or Bible as my guidance, so be it. But this is for the good reason and for the good cause. So why have I named the channel with this name? I had over 20 different proposals, both coming from my ministry partners, the channel partners, and for myself, and eventually just dawned to me, this name came to my head and I wanted to name it. So myth, like I said, is something that is true, something that does not mean what a modern person may see as fictional or legendary, but rather myth has a much better definition, which will be, imagine a world which is surrounded and heavily influenced by these cosmic powers, visible and invisible, fight between good and bad, stories of creation and destruction, and how they parallel the Bible. And this is why I believe C.S. Lewis famously said that Christianity is a true myth, because as a true myth, it would mean a true story, not a legendary folk tale. So that's why I wanted to put the first name of the channel as Myth or Myths, because there's so many truths found in the Bible, and because I plan to compare that myth with other ancient myths coming from Israel's surrounding nations, their neighbors, with whom they had some parallels, meaning similarities in their worldview, but also some differences. So I plan to compare all of these myths and just emphasize the true aspect of one true myth. Why did they put mysteries? Well, because you don't have to be a believer to just love mystery novels or stories and movies and TV shows. I believe that regardless of who you are, that you have probably experienced something crazy and supernatural in your life. And maybe you have an explanation for that, maybe you don't. But these are one of the mysteries of life. But let's go even outside the Bible. What about all the people that swear that they have witnessed UFOs, or that they saw the Mothman, or the Dogman? So many other examples like that. These things, again, we can discard them and say, well, these are just kids' stories and garbage. Or if you're like me, you may be intrigued and you just want to learn more. Even if they're not true, even if people think they saw something, but it was maybe a hallucination, or maybe they were sleepy, or maybe they can't explain well, so maybe they saw something and they think it was a monster or an alien, but still something has impacted their lives so much that they're changed and they're willing to come out public and speak about these things. So I wanted to include mysteries in the name of the channel. And lastly, why majesty? Majesty because it points to Christ. So myths, majesty, myths, mysteries, and majesty, the 3M. I think it perfectly matches, and it better describes the channel's theme better than all other proposals I had over time. And I will not be the only one leading this channel. I plan to play a role of Professor Xavier from X-Men, who is assembling a team of other people, super people with knowledge and powers, so to speak, powers greater than his own. Or maybe, like one friend said, well, maybe like Nick Fury. Okay, let's say I'm a Nick Fury and I'm just a regular guy, a Bible nerd, and who likes supernatural stuff and who loves so many different topics, but maybe he cannot battle all of these things by himself, and that's why he's looking for partners. And thank God I found almost 10 of them. And what is my desire is to, once when I assemble fully this team, that that I would not care so much what faith tradition, church, or denomination they come from, as long as they're coming um, from a church or faith tradition that is respected and legit, if I can say it that way, not from a cult, and where I want us to unite over the essentials of the faith, including that Bible is the inspired word of God, that Christ is the Savior, fully God, fully human, stuff like that. And I would like all of them to help me assess different topics, um, analyze them, and parallel them with the Bible and with Christ, and compare how all these gods, all these supernatural beings, all these deities, all these even superheroes, how they compare to Christ. So in a way, the channel is welcoming all of you who are believers or not, coming from this or that religion, or skeptics and atheists. It doesn't matter. I see all of you as friends, and you're welcome to go on this journey with me of studying and learning and trying to be intellectually honest. The only group of people which I don't necessarily feel like welcoming on the channel would be people who would constantly try to divide, or who are acting aggressively, or who are trying not to challenge you but to provoke you. I don't have energy or time for that, so I hope you're not one of them. But if you are a nerd, if you're trying to, if you love knowledge, if you try finding answers on difficult questions, and if one of the things I said matches with your passions, and if it's on your heart, I would just ask you to like our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and to share with others. I think it can be life-changing, as it changed my life and the life of many people. I'm a member of this, actually, a couple of Facebook pages which are dedicated to the teachings of Dr. Michael Heiser, and one page has over 10,000 members from the whole world, people testifying how has this material changed their lives, and just understanding of the Bible and perspective about God and demonic and all these forces and weird things happening in life. So why not you experiencing the same thing like us? So again, this channel is for all of us. I plan to have many of my partners coming and talking with me. I plan to interview them, having them as guests. But also, as the channel grows, I would love one day to interview, some of the book authors I have, some of my theology professors, and maybe even one day some eyewitnesses who say that they have witnessed some powerful, weird, supernatural stuff in their lives. So why not interviewing them and learning from them? So I probably forgot something important, but this is what the channel will be about. Someone asked me about donations and stuff like that. I honestly don't know much about those things. I don't have Patreon or GoFundMe accounts. Those things may happen later as the channel grows, but for now, it's too early for those things. But there may be a possibility in the future where people who are patrons and donating may have a session with, I don't know, questions and answer with us, or just dialoguing about different weird stuff like good old nerds, or maybe people requesting some topic that my team and I feel equipped well to deal with, to combat with, and make special type of videos for those people. So this thing may happen eventually, but for now, this is just a friendly, welcoming place for all of you Bible nerds and even skeptics who love learning. And I hope that together we can just enter in this journey together and enjoy and just have changed lives and share it with others. I thank you for your time. I know that many of you are busy, and again, I apologize for any imperfection in this video. I've been trying to record this first video for the last couple of hours. It's late and I'm tired, and can go and try to do it again. So forgive me for anything that was imperfect. And again, I thank you for everything. God bless.